Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you're watching real time, it's because you're a Patreon patron and or you are a Twitch Prime subscriber who linked your account to your Amazon Prime account, so thank you for that. You also could be watching as a YouTube subscriber. If you're watching this and you're not paying for it and Twitch isn't paying for it, then you're getting it a week late, and the price for that is you have to follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Today's question from Patreon from Aglo. Hey, Pac. Currently, Ubisoft is the only major video game publisher in Europe. Why is this? Do you think that any other publisher in the region, like THQ Nordic or CD Projekt Red, will eventually grow enough to be considered a major publisher? Thanks again. Love the show. You know, I think Embracer's there. I don't cover them, so I'd have to go validate this. But I'm thinking you add up all their revenues, and they're way over $1 billion. So that's pretty big. You know, back in the day, I covered THQ and Midway. They were under $1 billion. They both went bankrupt, but because back in the day, $1 billion was kind of the threshold to make money. Embracer, I think, makes money. I'm pretty sure they're over $1 billion. We used to cover companies like Acclaim, you know, that maybe did 300, 400, 500 million, 3DO, 3, 4, 500 million. So major. Yeah, the way THQ Nordic is moving with these acquisitions, 100%, they're going to be major. That guy, Lars Wingeford, is very smart, very aggressive. He bought Gearbox. I mean, Gearbox alone is good for, 400 or 500 million if they ever publish another game in a year. You know, so I think that they are cobbling together a powerhouse. And I think we will probably cover them one of these days, as soon as there's enough investor interest. CD Projekt, no, they're a two-hit wonder, you know, and they blew the last one. And I don't know how many times they made Witcher 1, 2, and 3, but over what period of time? 15 years. I mean, I think Witcher's probably 5 years or something. And I don't think you'll see Cyberpunk 2087 until 2087. So they probably won't grow enough. The real reason I think that you don't see a lot of big publishers in Europe is that Europe has pretty restrictive employment rules. They, you know, again, it's just because it's a social democratic region. Not all countries, obviously, but it's hard to hire people there and fire them. And not to say the U.S. is great, but we can get away with a lot more crap. Canada, it surprises me that, you know, there's not a big publisher headquartered in Canada, because Canada is actually pretty friendly and pretty good. But the real answer is we used to have 11 or 12 major publishers, and we're down to now like 2. They're just going away. So you've got EA and Take-Two and Ubisoft 3. And they used to be a bunch, but Midway, THQ, Acclaim, 3DO, Atari, all bankruptcies. Did I miss anybody? There's
Infogrames.
Infogram was acquired by Atari, but
that was Europe, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so was Atari.
Yeah.
But it's just hard, you know. It's. I mean, IDOS acquired by Square Enix. They were in UK. Mm-hmm. So it's just hard to keep these guys going, and mostly because of employment rules. So nope, don't think any other publisher in the region is going to be major, but Embracer probably. It's the THQ Nordic, Embracer. Our question from SIFTD, from Scola21. How do developers reap the benefits of the success of a game on a video game subscription service? Obviously, they get paid up front, but what metrics are used for royalties? Are there royalties? On Spotify, a stream is counted if a song is listened to for 30 seconds, and an artist's total streams are paid out as a percentage of total streams on the platform. Is there a similar model for games, and if not, should there be? Actually, it's similar to Spotify, except that because the Spotify model is they pay per listen, and games they pay per minute. So if you play a game for an hour, the developer will earn 60 times as much as if you play for a minute. But the way they do it is Obviously, they're upfront guarantees, so they're committed. They give money up front, but it's a guaranteed draw against the royalty. And I'm making all this up. So when I tell you this, I know this is right, but nobody told me. So this is why I make all the big bucks that I make. So Microsoft collects $10 a month. I know you think it's 15, but it's 10 because the other 5 of the Game Pass subscription is for Xbox Live Gold. So the 5 they were going to get anyway. The 10 is the incremental cost of the subscription, and they pay out 65% royalties. So Microsoft takes $6.50 a month times 25 million subscribers. I got to tell you that number. So 162 million a month. So $1.95 billion is how much Microsoft pays out in royalties to game developers. If 50% of the gameplay on Game Pass is Microsoft-owned games, they pay it to themselves. So you won't see that. So let's just call that $2 billion. And my guess is because of the content that they purchased recently, the Bethesda stuff, and because of the timing of the last couple of Microsoft games, Forza and Halo, and Gears Strategy, Gears Tactics, that probably 50% of gameplay is Microsoft owned. But the other 50%, the other billion, absolutely goes out to the developers. So let's say that, and let's just use the other billion. So of the remaining time that's not spent on Microsoft, that 10% of all game hours spent are EA games. And there's $1 billion in royalty available, EA gets $100 million. That's what happens. So if you have a game on the system and you have 1% of all gameplay spent, you get $10 million. So that's how you get paid for your content. And if it's good and people play it, you'll make money. And if it's not and nobody plays it, you don't care. So the artists on Spotify, my understanding is they don't get paid very much and it's kind of a ripoff, but they do get paid if you listen to their songs. And if you don't ever listen to their songs, so I will say I don't listen to country on Spotify. So no country artist is getting any part of my Spotify subscription. I listen to, and I encourage you to buy his album because he's cool, Nils Lofgren, who's got a couple of solo albums and he's great. And he's guitarist for Bruce Springsteen, but he's just a cool dude and he's a really good guitar player. And you know, because I like him and I follow him on Twitter and I really respect him as an artist, I actually buy his CDs because I think the guy deserves to get paid, and I know he gets a big chunk when I buy his CDs, where my understanding is he gets like a penny a year for me listening. But listen to Nils, he's really cool. But I listen to artists and they get paid. And so Spotify is by the song, and they don't pay more. They pay a percentage of their total revenues out to the artists, and I think it's the same 65%. Gets paid out to all the artists. Microsoft 65% gets paid out to all the developers. And because Microsoft owns so much content, Spotify owns nothing. Spotify technically owns Joe Rogan. They paid him. But they own nothing, so they don't pay themselves anything. But Microsoft owns a lot of content. So again, if when Call of Duty goes on Game Pass, it's going to be 50% of all hours for the first month, because it is. And that's why Microsoft owns it. It'll be there, and they're going to pay themselves. So they get to keep all the profit, which is cool. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. And if you are watching real time, it's because either you're a Patreon patron, thank you very much. You're a YouTube subscriber, thank you very much. And or you have linked your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account, which all of you can do for free. If your parents are Prime members, go ahead and try it. It'll work. Remember to re-up that. It's in the description, show description. We tell you how to do that online. So just take a look and link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account, because it's free money for Shane. It'll keep these things being produced. It's no money for me, but I know you guys tolerate me. If you're doing none of those, follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. I will see you next time.